Dale Takatimu, I think it is, at the
Yeah.
weekend, talked about,
Yeah.
quote, this white supremacist underpinned government, end quote, direct quote.
Yeah.
That's obviously something that's said that's risen up and got a few heckles up. Do you agree with that statement? How do we classify the government? How do we see them as being white supremacist underpinned? Because that sounds like one step away from they are white supremacist. It's a bit like talking about the elite Māori. That's like Hitler talked about the elite Jews. It's like they're using the same playbook. So that's what I hear when I hear underpinned, as opposed to actually being. How do you react when you hear her saying this white supremacist underpinned government?
Well, okay, let's just look at this in a non-emotive way. We have a government that's come in that wants to undo policy and systems that were designed by a tribunal and by multiple medical experts that would help Māori to close the gap of why they're dying 7 to 10 years earlier than non. We have a government. Okay, so that's about well-being. We have a government that knows that Māori die more from cancer, lung cancer, and they're wanting to increase smoking, particularly that's aimed at initiatives towards Māori. We have a government that wants to rid the country or relegate our reo. So there we have our lives, our well-being are at threat, our language is at threat. We have a government that has now decided that our very existence, the whakapapa that makes up Te Tiriti, that our whakapapa doesn't matter. We didn't exist before colonisation. If that is not examples of the tools of white supremacy, and again, take it away, just pretend we're somewhere else. If you saw 3 or 4 of those traits, what would you call them?
Yeah.
Because they are not non-extreme. They are extreme efforts to wipe away the role, the language, the well-being, the ability and the rights for the Indigenous peoples of this land, nowhere else, to be self-determining. Those are all things, sadly, that we've seen white supremacists do across the world, that we've seen happen to Indigenous peoples. And the worst thing is that often those white supremacists are driven by shareholder type initiatives. So they have an economic capitalist imperative. So 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. And so again, I know I saw some of the reaction in the media, and to be really honest, counteract it. Like, take away that we're not talking about here. Just put that on a sheet of paper, write it up, send it out to somebody else, and tell us, what do you think is the culture or the habits or the traits of those people who are applying that onto the Indigenous peoples? If that's not white supremacy at its absolute, best, then what is it? Because it's not mild. And what's even worse is that everything anti-Māori has been put into the 100-day. So we're not even given the right to be consulted, the existence of our very, our existing iwi leaderships to be involved. It's just get out of my way, Māori. You are in the way of progress, whether it's our environmental views, our cultural views, our real views, just get our health views. So I'm sorry, I totally support what she said. There is no way to soften the truth.